Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Community Super League. I'm Aaron Forsyth of Wizards of the Coast Magic R&D, and I'm joined by the professor from Tolarian Community College. How are you today,
Ladies and
sir?
gentlemen, I am great, Mr. Forsyth. I just want to give a big welcome to all the goblins, centaurs, elves, humans, assorted races, obviously not dwarves, but everyone else who is happy to be here for week 2 of the CSL. Plain constructed, but I think you're going to see there's nothing plain about it.
That's right. All 4 sets set in Innistrad are the tapestry that our competitors have to work with today.
Well,
And
hang on. Now, it sounds like you're about to explain, and I just want to say that for those who missed our earlier explanation, I think that it would be unfair to the people who were here on time to have to sit through another explanation over again. So, really, what we should be saying right now before the next match is anyone who doesn't know what we're doing, show up on time next week, right?
okay.
I mean, is
Okay.
that fair? I think that's
that
very
sounds like
fair.
something a professor would say. That's for sure.
Yes. A bitter, cruel, unpopular one. Absolutely.
So, if you want to know what the format is, you can type in the chat. I believe it's !format, and you'll get a link to a video. I'm not going to explain it.
Right.
All right. So, the 2 decks that we'll be looking at today for this round, the first by Magic the Amateuring and the second by our friend Wedge, are eerily similar.
Oh,
Aren't they, Professor?
You're friends with Wedge? I didn't know that. He never
Yeah.
talks about you. Ever.
Okay.
I don't think your name is
we keep
is
it on
this-
the down low.
I'm sorry, my connection's a little bad. Is this Aaron Forsyth or Mark Rosewater? It's a little hard to tell.
I'm the tall one.
Oh, okay. Right. Matt Tabak. So, right.
All
So,
right.
since you're the former pro player, I think that
Yeah.
you should absolutely take the role of knowledgeable expert as we go over these decks, pointing out synergies and combos and strategies. And I will reluctantly take the role of filthy casual and stand here quietly asking stupid questions that you will very intelligently answer. The first deck is Miracles on Ice. What
No.
exactly is ice?
I wish it was called Miracles on Ice. That would be a fun reference to the 1980 U.S. men's hockey team. It's called Miracles in the Ice,
Oh
which is a
my.
reference to Thing in the Ice. That's the ice. A cool new card from Shadows over Innistrad. It's a 0/4 for 2 mana, 1 in a blue, that if you cast 4 instants or sorceries over the course of the game, it transforms into a gigantic 7/8 that returns all non-horrors to its owner's hand. And that's quite an efficient creature for 2 mana. And so obviously,
You might say it's horror-able for your opponent.
yes, horrible. Very good. So most of the deck is built around trying to get that thing to transform. Lots of cheap instants and sorceries, many with flashback, and a bunch of removal. It looks like Magic the Amateuring expected everyone to foolishly play some sort of weenie tribal deck with these Innistrad blocks. So they were going to show them by killing all the little creatures or sending them back to their owner's hands with this very removal heavy Thing in the Ice, Snapcaster Mage, Bonfire of the Damned deck.
Mm.
Does this look like a fun deck to you?
Not particularly. I think that I would say that if I had to put money on it, that Megan of Magic the Amateuring, the resident blue player, probably was the one who won the coin flip and and immediately said, Thing in the Ice is what we need to build it around, because I think if Maria had built it, it would just be vampires. So this looks like it is going to be... I'm just glad that I'm not paired up against them this week. That looks like a miserable deck to go up against. It's going to mop the floor with their opponent. Just mop the floor.
Oh, we'll get to the opponent in a second. I do want to point out a cool interaction the deck has with Rise from the Tides, which is a sorcery that makes a 2/2 zombie for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. They come into play tapped, but if you can combine that with Temporal Mastery, either miracled or hardcast should the game go very long. For that extra turn, you can immediately just untap and kill your opponent with tons and tons of zombies before they can do much about it. I bring that up only because I believe that is a likely outcome for the match we're about to see once we go to Wedge's deck here.
Now, Wedge's deck is one I actually know about. It's amazing.
It's a blue-red Thing in the Ice Snapcaster Mage deck with tons of removal. Oh, it's got white in it as well.
Yes, but it's also based off of one that was very popular during Block Constructed, I believe, back in ye olde day, with the Blasphemous Act, Devil's Play, Faithless Looting. What exactly is he looking to do? Why don't you explain it to everyone in the chat?
His key card there is the enchantment you see on the right, Burning Vengeance, 3-mana red enchantment that whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Tons of ways to cast spells from the graveyard. This thing is great for picking off little creatures. It's also great for going to the dome. I think this is going to be, if you can get one of these out early or multiples of them out early, it's going to be very hard for MTA to get that thing off the table, and then just any spell he casts is going to move the game closer to completion.
Brutal, brutal. I lost to variations of this all the time, but that's not saying much. I lose to a lot of decks all the time. Aaron, why only 2 Snapcaster Mages? Why not 5 or 6?
There's only one Tiago Chan, who's the guy that whose likeness is depicted on that card. So I'm not even sure how they managed to get 2, to be honest with you. All right, we're going to send it to the match to see which one of these Thing in the Ices can get unlocked first. All right, here we are, round 2 of the Community Super League, Innistrad Plane Constructed. On the top of the screen, we have Wedge playing a Thing in the Ice Snapcaster Mage deck, highlighted by Burning Vengeance. And on the bottom, we have Magic the Amateuring playing a Thing in the Ice Snapcaster Mage deck, highlighted by Rise from the Tides.
And he's got the Burning Vengeance in his opening hand with a fair amount of mana, and they've got their Thing in the Ice in their hand with a fair amount of mana. Holy moly, decks are working, variance be damned.
All right. Let's see if the thing is going to come out of the ice, or if it's going to get burned with vengeance. It only takes 2 spells cast from the graveyard in a single turn to take down that thing.
Now, Aaron, you are someone who works for Wizards of the Coast, and I'm gonna have to ask.
You're gonna ask me, is it worth it to buy a Shadows over Innistrad Fat Pack?
Well, as this is officially put on by Wizards of the Coast, I believe I'm compelled to say yes. Just buy. No, I'm joking.
Buy 6 or 7.
Buy 6. Who cares what you do with them? Who cares what you do with them after
Build
you buy
a
them?
fort
Just
out
give
of them.
the money to the cashier. Give the money to the cashier. No,
Right.
I was going into the mystery of the flavor of Shadows over Innistrad. Magic players are wrapped up in when the mystery will be revealed, and I just have to ask you. When is that big reveal going to happen? Are you able to tell us even any bit of timeline on when we're going to find out that it's Emrakul on Innistrad? Everyone really wants to know.
Where do people come up with this stuff?
You know, I mean, did Nahiri bring Emrakul, who is on Innistrad, to Innistrad? When will Jace figure out that it's Emrakul on Innistrad? People want to... Wait, I'm sorry, someone's screaming in my ear right now.
Give the man his tinfoil hat. That's all I'm going to tell
you. Or it could be Marit Lage, an over 10-year-old reference that 35 people remember. That's realistic possibility as well.
Those 35 people really want it to be Marit Lage, though. I'll tell you that much. We will be having our Eldritch Moon preview content coming up in a few weeks. All will be revealed over the next couple of months.
Oh, look, there's a game going on.
Just how crazy everyone is with their predictions. There's a game going on. There's a Burning Vengeance and a Thing in the Ice.
Yeah.
As predicted.
Wow. All right. So who do you think's going to win?
The vengeance comes. Okay. Who do I think is going to win? I still have my money on Burning Vengeance here as the long game trump. But I do think he needs to get rid of the Thing in the Ice soon. because with its high toughness, burning that horror is pretty difficult early in the game. So we'll
Is
see if he can come up with a way to do that.
is 4 considered a high toughness?
No, no. Now's the time to kill it.
Right.
8 is considered a high toughness.
Oh, 8, I believe. Now, again, I'm not a pro, but isn't the technical term for an 8 toughness creature stupid tough? Stupid high tough?
I thought it was
Crazy high tough? Hella high tough? I forget the term.
I don't know the term either. I used to use a word that might be a little insensitive, so I'm not going to use it now.
Oh, my.
Yeah. 2 counters have been removed from Thing in the Ice thanks to Think Twice. They thought twice about the thing. It has almost escaped at this point. So between their lightning axe, no, there's nothing to lightning axe. Between the fiery temper and the snapcaster mage, the girls have a way to get the thing out of the ice. So Wedge is kind of under the gun here. He's going to need a 5th land to cast Devil's Play on it.
And right now, all they're going to be looking to doing is just cast whatever they can, however they can, to get those remaining 2 counters off of it.
Right, and I'm sure Wedge has to be worried about if he goes for killing it with Devil's Play, which he can't even do because he did not find a land, that they might just flip it in response, which would be really disastrous.
Mm-hmm.
But you just can't let that thing sit there because it's ultimately going to turn over. And him coming up with enough damage. I mean, he has a few ways to kill it that aren't damage-based, like Terminus. But I think most of the way he plans on dealing with individual creatures is with red removal.
Aaron, which is the better set, Innistrad or Shadows over Innistrad, and why?
It's like asking me to ask which of my children are the best.
Hmm.
I'd like to think that we get better over time as we make Magic sets. So my kind of go-to answer is Shadows over Innistrad, but we haven't seen it. I mean, Innistrad is one of the highest bars we ever set putting a Magic set together. It was so beloved. The limited format was raved about for years after it was over. The flavor of the set is amazing. We tried to capture and build upon as much of that as we could with Shadows. So far, so good. The results have been really, really awesome. The standard format looks good. The feedback we're getting from on the limited format is good. People are loving a lot of the flavor as well. So I don't want to say one or the other, but I'm crossing my fingers that Shadows turns out to be even better than Innistrad. But if it only turned out to be just as good as Innistrad, I would be very happy with that as well.
I'll tell
Which
you.
one do you like better?
Oh, original Innistrad, not even a minute of hesitation. But that doesn't mean that Shadows isn't an awesome set. But I would actually say that even if Shadows of Innistrad ended up being just like slightly less good than original Innistrad, that's an amazing set because Innistrad is considered one of the best Magic sets of all time. I mean, that's quite a bar.
Absolutely.
And do you guys understand how you did it? It's amazing. It was. I played during that time. The limited environment, the standard environment, so many staples in modern and legacy. Hell, even Pauper, Delver decks. It just went everywhere. A symphony.
It is an amazing set, and there's also a whatever the back of Thing of the Ice is called, Woken Horror attacking, and Wedge has really been pummeled by this thing. It looked like it got flipped by a fiery temper and a miracled bonfire.
Is Wedge still alive? Okay.
The devil did not get to play. The devil did not play with his thing in time to get it off the table. So it looks like I watched. Did you watch much of Kenji and Paul's match?
I had it on while I was eating my dinner, and it looked like. Wait, no, Kenji and Paul's match last week.
No, I'm sorry. Paul and Marshall. That's right.
Right, Paul and Marshall. I did watch that while I was eating dinner, and
looks like Paul also decided to try to prey on anyone foolish enough to show up with actual creatures in their deck. Was that the clever thing to do this week? Because I didn't do that.
You didn't have creatures, or you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Prey on people with creatures.
I didn't decide to prey on people with creatures.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm the sucker.
No, I think I'm the sucker because I took I made a 4-color deck with this mana base. So I think I think you're gonna make short work of me.
Well, we'll see.
I think you're gonna make short work of me.
We're not going to just sit here and cast removal spells on each other for an hour.
Not no no no. My
Okay,
goodness, my
that's good.
goodness. It'll take at least an hour and a half.
I remember when I first started playing, when I learned that the way to beat my friends was just to play decks that played very few creatures and killed all their creatures, and what a wet blanket that was for our play community for a while.
I remember when I started playing and I put 16 giant growths in my deck and it had to be explained to me that I couldn't put more than 4 in it, and I did not believe the gentleman on the playground, and a crowd had to gather to convince me that no, you can't have 16 giant growths in there. I thought I had cracked the game.
But
I
you're
was
like,
this
but
is
I,
well,
but I
you cast
own
it on
16
the
giant
war
growths.
mammoth with trample,
That's
and the damage
awesome.
tramples over. It was brilliant. I cracked the game, but there's always a catch. You know, there's always a catch.
Right. It's never as easy as it looks. It's never as
No.
easy as it looks. And yet, still, this awoken horror continues to be
Oh,
a
is Wedge still alive? Oh,
Yeah, he's been
I thought we were
tapping
on
it
break.
down with feeling of dread, trying to not die.
Well, that
Now
feeling is accurate.
he's at 2 life. Now he's at -1 life. Okay, maybe Burning Vengeance is not the trump in this matchup at all.
Oh my no.
Looks like whoever can unthing the thing first has a huge advantage.
So what's Wedge's hope here in terms of his sideboard? Is there any? I'd get that declaration in stone in there if I were him.
Right, so he's taking out his mass removal, his blasphemous acts, and putting in Witchbane orbs so he can't be targeted by burn spells. We'll see if he puts in the declarations. That's a great way to get rid of the thing in the ice. Now, the thing that could happen here, now that he took out his blasphemous axe, is when Rise from the Tides will be at its absolute best. He doesn't know it's there. He doesn't see it coming. He will have very few ways to stop that thing. Should they resolve that?
Mm-hmm.
I can't quite see what Magic the Amateuring is up to. They have the Undead Alchemist in their sideboard. I'm curious as to what matchup that was for. Oh, here goes Geist Blast. That's a cool one from Shadows over Innistrad that they're bringing in. They can use to copy spells out of their graveyard.
I don't know that with a plane constructed you could really anticipate what you're going up against in terms of the sideboard. My approach was just to see how I might want to fix my deck after inevitably losing to you round 1, and then be like, well, after I've lost to him, what would I probably try and change spur of the moment that I should have done in the first place? And I put those cards in my sideboard.
That's a great way to go about it, especially in a format like this where the point is to kind of surprise each other. I do think as you get into more high level constructed, there's a lot of anticipating exactly my opponent is going to bring in 4 of these. I know that because he's read the same internet article that I have, and so I'll bring in my these to counter it. And then you try to go next level by not bringing in the thing that he thought you were bringing in, etc., etc. But here it's just you know what you saw, you know what you have that you think's good against it, bring it in, and if they have something you didn't anticipate, well, good for them. They
Yeah.
got you. They got you, and we'll see if that's going to happen here to Mr. Wedge.
So they're still sideboarding. I guess this is a great time to bring up that we got specific instructions from Wizards of the Coast that we do need to be more friendly and approachable as hosts, especially to that delicious age 13 to 18 demographic. So that being said, let me interject. Parents,
Oh,
pretty
nice.
pretty lame, right? I mean, they totally don't get it, right?
That's right. I mean, come on. Is it really their credit card? Come on.
I know. Like last night, I was just trying to watch Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and they were all up on my case. This has been relatability.
What year
with
was
the
that
professor.
from? Yeah.
The best year, the 90s, which I believe is when you started playing Magic as well. Isn't that
Absolutely.
correct?
That's right.
Those were the days. Those were the days.
Back when I was 9 or 12 or whatever. Not exactly. Okay.
How old were you in the 90s?
I graduated high school in 1990.
Oh wow. Okay.
What does that
That's.
mean? Oh wow.
Oh no, I didn't. I mean, it's just so seldom that I meet anyone older than me.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just. It's
They're all
nice.
they're all
It's
dead.
great.
Yeah.
It's great because usually I'm the oldest person in the room. So thank you. Makes
You're
me feel
welcome.
good.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're
All
welcome.
right. I
Oh,
see
look at this.
some things are hitting the battlefield here from none other than Wedge himself. Has some things.
And
A bit of their taste of the old medicine, eh? Eh?
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We get to watch the game upside down from how it was last time.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Except now there's two, and they don't have a way to deal with it. One fiery temper is not going to stop any of this. So a couple more spells, and this one looks to be over very quickly.
Yeah, I think it was a big mistake for them not to draw a thing in the ice. I'd suggest that they
But
draw one. Oh, and
well,
they did. Oh, good.
good
Okay,
job. Very good. You
good.
give
Yeah.
very sound advice.
Well, it's a good strategy that they draw it. I would have put it in my opening hand. I don't know why they wanted to wait to draw it, but sometimes you're still figuring out the format. You're still figuring out the deck.
That was their handicap for winning game one. They had to stick the thing in the ice like 11th in their deck,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to 4th or whatever.
I see.
What kind of decks do you normally associate Wedge with?
Control, 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 and control.
Okay.
Or as the casual crowd calls it, misery incarnate. The
Right.
same types of decks Megan likes. The two of them should get along like a house on fire. Lantern control versus lantern control till your eyeballs bleed.
That sounds yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, they get what they deserve playing this mirror match against each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Temporal mastery.
It's a miracle. It's like rampant growth.
Right.
That removes this. Oh, yeah.
Except you take an extra turn. And it's in blue, and there's other differences.
Well, the extent of their extra turn here was putting another land out, which is why it's like rampant growth.
Right.
Time walks are great when you can actually do productive things with them, but otherwise they're
What are some of the things you like
glorified rampant
with
growth.
time walk? Like
Take
like
infinite of them and
take
win the game
infinite of
immediately.
them.
Yeah. Attack for 10. That's another good one. That's a good one to do twice in a row.
Yeah.
Draw 4 extra cards. There's a lot of cool things you can do with the time walk.
I can see it. I dig it. I like to sell mine and pay off my credit cards, but
I don't even understand that comment.
Oh, yes, you do.
My credit cards are paid off. All right. Any questions from the chat for the professor?
Probably when will you be leaving commentary, you suck, old man, is what I imagine. I haven't been looking at the window out of fear for my self-esteem.
People are pointing out that my rampant growth analogy for the time walk is better as explore. I agree. That's a better thing. That was a miracle explore for them. Okay, now we have thing in the ice parity. 2 on each side. Magic the Amateuring is ahead by 1 counter on 1 thing in the ice. And as I do not believe, if we can get a zoom in on one of those.
If that thing goes off before the other things, it'll put all the other things back to their thing, right? No? Oh, because it's a horror.
Right, it is a horror. Even while in the ice. I thought it might have been like an ice cube creature type or something like that.
Okay.
It's actually a horror.
So never mind.
Aaron, give me Eldrazi slivers, please. That's in the chat. Okay, where would you like me to mail those? I have a pile of them right here. Oh, look what I have right on my desk. Explore. How did I get this wrong? It's right in front of my face.
Now, Aaron, you're in R&D. Do you know why a Green Weaver Druid is the most powerful card in all of Magic?
No, tell me, why is the Greenweaver Druid the most powerful card in all of Magic?
Because all you have to do is get it to resolve, and it taps, and it's GG.
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 Very good. I like it.
Yeah.
I think there was another card that did that before Greenweaver Druid.
Oh, yeah?
Finhorn Elder, I believe is what it was called. So I think making Thing in the Ice was a 7/8 was a good idea. How do you ever get through this board?
Hmm.
We didn't have this board all that often when we were testing, but I do think so. This was not part of our Thing in the Ice rigor plan. Was what if everyone had multiples of them on the battlefield at once? I didn't realize the ice was so littered with things there on Innistrad.
You also didn't expect people would have Snapcaster Mages in their hand, such as Magic the Magic the Amateuring, because you didn't. Because
no, we did not test Thing in the Ice with Snapcaster.
That's what I'm trying to.
That is true,
right? And that they have it.
I do expect the people.
I mean, I guess they'd have it in Modern, but I meant like in Standard, because let's move on to something where I sound less stupid. Oh dear, we're in trouble. Here we go. Wow, that's some Burning Vengeance.
What was cast here? I can't even follow. Okay, one of them has. Oh, he had Faithless Looting into another spell.
Oh, wow.
Both of them have turned over now. And there's no way that Magic can get theirs turned over. They can. Oh, look at this! They can Fiery Temper 1, flip theirs over and block to kill it. Attacking into 2 flipped over Awoken Horrors seems really difficult, but when there's only 1, then the best you can hope for is a trade here, and that looks like what they're going to get out of the deal. With Oh no, it's not even a trade. Theirs is going to live. 7/8 again.
Right.
Just drop playset of Goyfs on the field. Goyf would be seriously outclassed here. There's very few card types in the graveyard.
But you guys made us a Pauper Goyf for Shadows over Innistrad, the Fungus Among Us.
Which card is that?
Pauper Goyf. It's a common, and with Delirium in play, it turns into a 3/4.
Oh, it's a 0/4 for 2 mana.
Right,
okay.
but with Delirium, it is very similar to a Goyf.
To a medium-sized Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. Hey, a medium-sized Tarmogoyf is nothing to sneeze at, let me tell you.
No, 2 mana 3/4 is quite a sizable beast.
Were you guys actually
play that card in Pauper?
Not yet, but I predicted that they might, because it's like a Tarmogoyf, so why not? But not yet. No, that hasn't come true.
How big was the thing in testing? Meaning, like, what were its stats, or like how awesome was it as part of our testing? I mean, we tested it a lot. It's a card that we're happy if it's powerful, and it has a ton of numbers on it, so we really need to put those ones through the ringer, much like Planeswalkers. There's just so many different knobs to tweak and numbers to change, and I think I like where it ended up. I'm surprised it doesn't get played in Standard more, and I expected it to show up in some of the older formats as well, so we'll have to give it some time. Oh, and here's Rise from the Tides for a whopping 2.
Ooh.
That was not the game plan here, I don't think.
No, not at all. Wedge has got 2 Delvers in hand and a Faithless Looting.
He brought in his Delvers from the sideboard. I actually tried building a version of this deck for this format with Delver main, and I was playing casual pickup modern games on Magic Online just to test my deck out, and I was just getting so annihilated that I gave up on it pretty quickly. And I'm glad that happened because we did not need a third version of this deck tonight to watch.
I don't have a single Delver of Secrets in my deck. In fact, I cut blue out altogether.
That's the one color you're not playing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm dead because I need that blue so bad. But I couldn't do 5 color without access to shock lands. I feel like the show lands kind of I can get away with that in place of the fast lands from Scars. Kinda, maybe. Like I kind of swapped them out, but oh no, I
You have
miss those
Evolving
shocks.
Wilds. Evolving Wilds doesn't solve
Evolving.
all your problems.
I don't think so.
That gets any color of land.
Yeah, I suppose, but I can't pay 2 life to have it come into play untapped and give me 2 colors of land, which is much more helpful in a 5 color deck.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is true.
Yep.
Someone asked, "How do you get a job in R&D?" I get asked this question a lot. Maybe the question I get asked the most. So we're gonna see what happens here. And then when there's a lull in the action, I'll give my little spiel.
So you're gonna leave us hanging?
Not for
Alright.
long.
All right.
So Wedge had a thing in the ice. It attacked into Magic the Amateuring's. They blocked, obviously, but then because of his Burning Vengeance, he was able to play a card from his graveyard to deal the final couple of points to knock it off the board. So he is firmly in the driver's seat here.
Yeah.
They have a single Snapcaster Mage that will not bail them out of this situation.
2 Jeff Goldblums in play.
Yes. Jeff Goldblum from my hometown of Pittsburgh.
No one knows that reference because they're not as old as we are.
No,
They're just like, what?
The
Who?
Fly is a movie.
Jeff Goldblum.
You might recognize
Did he play
Jeff
on the Pro
Goldblum.
Tour?
No, if you've seen Jurassic Park, I'm sure they've all seen that. Jeff Goldblum.
That you must mean Jurassic World because Jurassic Park came out before half the people in this chat were born.
I don't know about that.
We're old, Mr. Forsyth.
We are old.
We are old. We
But
need to attract a new, younger audience to Magic.
All right, that's your job. I'll just grimace over here.
Hey, how about those pogs? I got a good laugh out of that one.
That was good. That was good. How to get a job in R&D? Couple ways. One, we tend to hire our developers straight out of tournament Magic, the Pro Tour being the most obvious of those, but we've also looked at the Star City circuit and anywhere else that people are putting up good tournament results. Make yourself known to us that way. Writing helps a lot. That way we can see how you think about the game, about the metagame, about constructed, about limited, about Magic as an ecosystem. That's great. The other way, the other most popular way is just get a job at Wizards of the Coast some other way, whatever that could be: customer service, finance, marketing, organized play, anything like that, and just hang out in R&D in your spare time. See if you're a good fit. We can get you on a product team, regardless of what department you work in. We put people from other teams on product teams all the time.
Wait, are you
if you're a
allowed
great
to
fit,
do that? Like, if I just work in the mailroom, I can walk into R&D and sit down and bother all of you and hang out with you?
Yep.
That's legit?
Yep.
I can answer phones and just be like, I'm going to go bother Aaron Forsyth now and be like, I've got an idea for a Magic card.
You can do that. It happens a lot.
Wow.
In fact, I didn't get hired into R&D when I came to Wizards. I actually worked on daily MTG back in its nascency. Before it actually even launched, I was here as the first content manager for that site.
Cool.
And like I said, just hung out in R&D in my spare time, got put on the Fifth Dawn design team, and they liked what I did enough to offer me a job here. And that was their first mistake. We also hire, creative writers, art directors that are just very, very good in their discipline. If you are a fantastic painter with an eye for detail and a love of fantasy, and can show us, perform a body of work for us over several cards, we hire people like Cynthia Shepard, Mark Winters, Sam Burley to come work in our art department. So, just generally looking for people who know and love the game and have shown some level of expertise in whatever field they choose.
I just love the idea of having just such a lowly position as like answering phones and then going upstairs to the top floor where the big folks are and like just walking in and sitting down and all
We
my
we we
terrible ideas,
we,
terrible
we
ideas.
want
We're gonna
feed.
return to homelands.
Yep, yep. We uh we want all those people's feedback. From if there's Magic fans anywhere in the company, we invite them to play tests. We send them polls about the cards we're making. We run stuff down on the first floor. We have a giant gaming space where we get to test out new sets before they come out. We want to hear all that stuff. So yes,
Yeah.
certain people are really good and have tons of great feedback for us. So we invite them to do more and more. So we are not a closed off organization, R&D within the rest of Wizards by any means.
Mhm.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
He's looking at bringing the blasphemous axe back in now that he has seen the power of Rise from the Tides for 2.
Excuse me. But if money weren't an option, which did you enjoy more, playing on the pro circuit or working your current job in R&D? Like if I could magically say to you, financially, you
Right.
will get all the same finances, same job security, same benefits, all of
Yep.
that, and it's just about your day-to-day would either be what you do now or what you did back then on the pro circuit. Which would you pick?
What I do now.
Hmm.
Not even close, honestly. The Pro Tour was a lot of fun hanging out with people. And if you're saying like I don't need to win at all in order to make make a living, that's great. But that's not how that works. And the stress, I am very prone to stress, migraines, and things like that. And those long days of playing tournaments just killed me. Uh, I would be a wreck every time I got back from a Pro Tour.
Oh.
Physically, just I don't know. It just took so much out of me that a more normal 9 to 5 kind of back to playing Magic at a less stressful, less intense pace has been very good for me.
All right.
It's hard. It is really hard out there. Some people are cut out for it and they love it and they love that level of intensity and pressure to
Yeah.
succeed.
Well,
like
there's
small
got to
doses.
come on now. Now you're not being fair. There's got to be pressure to succeed at Wizards of the Coast. That's just not fair.
No, there is, but
Yeah.
it's not so condensed into a 48-hour period. You know, I mean, here there's just that kind of daily work pressure that I think most people have that have full-time jobs. But on the Pro Tour, it's you have worked and worked and worked for weeks or months, and now it comes down to 14 rounds of Magic. Any mistake you make is going to haunt you horribly, and some people can power through that. I internalized a lot of that, and it was really hard. And I was not cut out for it for the long term, so I certainly jumped at the chance to turn playing Magic into a different kind of career than just keep playing professionally.
That's awesome. Oh, hey, look, we got a thing in the ice versus a thing in the ice.
Yeah.
Boy.
Anyway,
Sorry, I wasn't interrupting your interesting, compelling, talk about behind the scenes at Wizards of the Coast in your life for thing in the ice versus thing in the ice here. And a Delver of Secrets has just hit the board as well.
you posted a picture of us playing a game
Yeah.
back at Worlds. When was that?
That was 5 years ago, almost exactly.
2011.
Yes, that was in 2011
Right.
at World San Francisco. I had returned to Magic the Gathering a few weeks earlier, maybe about a month earlier at most. And I live in San Francisco, and I was told there's this big Magic thing happening. And my wife and I went down there with our decks, and it was one of the most exciting experiences walking into that. And I got to play against you, even though I didn't really know who you were. I just knew you were one of the guys who made Magic. And I have those pictures still and those memories. And you mopped the floor with us, of course. Merciless and cruel. No, but It
That's
was
what we do
no,
when we're
but like
spell slinging. Just try to
right,
crush customers out of
right,
existence. Yeah.
just especially new
Right.
customers.
Did you just start? Well, let's make this
Yeah.
quick then. Yeah.
Right, right. But it was a wonderful experience. We got pickup games on the side. You'd walk up to this kiosk. They don't do this anymore. And you walk up to this kiosk and you say, "Hey, can I get a game of Modern or Standard or Commander?" And it was $5. And you sat down and you got a promo card of the Planeswalker just for playing. And then you got to play. And there were all. It was so amazing. It blew my mind. And it's one of my happiest memories from the non-high school years. It was such a wonderful thing, and you were a part of that. And
Well,
it was
thank
in
you.
Estrad. Thank you. You don't remember me. You're not thinking, boy, that one random stranger out of 50 that I played that one
Right.
weekend 5 years ago. That was a fun game where he almost beat me with his janky mono red deck. But I remember you all these years and that wonderful experience. And that's some of what Magic's about and what you retain, and my wife and all that stuff. It was wonderful. I got my cards signed by Jason Chan. Was so my Lord of Illusions, Lord of the Unreal, Master of the
Yep.
Unreal.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I was like, oh, I love it. Can I buy a print? And he's like, no, I just have prints of Jace. And I'm like, oh, you know, it was great, great stuff.
Yeah. Those worlds were some big festival type tournaments for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Wedge's thing in the ice went down to a lightning axe.
Mm.
So that's one way to deal with these problematic things.
But don't worry, there's another thing in the ice, and it's resolved because there's not enough counter spells. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Right. Right. What cool things are happening in this match? It's thing in the ice, thing in the ice, flip thing in the ice. Hope you can't kill thing in the ice.
Right.
So there, I've just covered the whole match for you. We can
Right.
go on to talk about other things now.
Yeah.
Someone asked, why isn't Possessed Scob legal in this format? Now, Possessed Scob is a blue and black zombie card from Magic Origins.
Ah.
Clearly set on Innistrad. I
Yeah.
agree that it is clearly from Innistrad. I can imagine if we were doing Innistrad flavor constructed, that'd be a great choice. We could add in, Gisa and Geralf from the Commander products and all sorts of other cards that have appeared on Innistrad. There's a lot of judgment there and a lot of gatherer searching, whereas the 4 sets that we've chosen for this format, crisp and clean, easy to understand.
I would allow it in my Innistrad themed cube.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
I really appreciated that actually about Magic Origins. Now, we would see that sometimes in other core sets where there would be a card that referenced Innistrad or Ravnica. We would definitely see that. But Origins, you got the 10
Soul
planes.
of Innistrad is another
right.
It's from M15. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Origins had 10 planes.
Oh, that was neat.
The story of Liliana is that she started on Dominaria and then planeswalked to Innistrad as her first planeswalk. So a tenth of the cards were set in Dominaria and a tenth in Innistrad. Possessed Scob being, I believe, of the 10 gold cards in the set at Uncommon in the set, each one was on one of the 10 different planes, and the blue-black one was a zombie from Innistrad.
I was just so thrilled you guys remembered what Dominaria was. It was just awesome. I was like, holy moly!
Yep.
That made I liked Origins a lot flavor-wise for all of that.
Wedge has flipped his thing. That sounds worse.
He's been told not to do that. He's been told not to do that. The CSL is family friendly.
Right. I'm just on the internet watching people flip
their thing. Oh my. Oh my. Well, I never.
Next week is Homelands draft. No, that's not
No,
true.
don't do that. Don't ever do that. If you're going to draft an old set for giggles, Fallen Empires can be a lot of fun for a draft, but Homelands is death incarnate for a draft. If you want to do that, seriously, you can get a Fallen Empires box still for about between Maybe find it for between 100, $200, depending on where you get it from. Not too bad for like a fun, you got your friends coming over. A Fallen Empires box for draft is really, it's not ideal, but it works more than Homelands and or Ice Age. Those two are death incarnate. Avoid Ice Age drafts, avoid Homelands drafts like the plague. Like the
Fallen
plague.
Empires was the first set that I bought boosters from. Besides, Revise was the first
Yeah,
set, but the first expansion was Fallen Empires, and it was very captivating.
me
And
too.
the low power level was lost on me. It was just incredibly flavorful, and you could see kind of the love that I had for that set show up in Time Spiral with all the Thalids and Endrick Czar, and just a lot of references back to Sarpadian Empires Volume 7 was a card that I put in
That
Time
was
Spiral
that
just
was
as a
that was you. That was you.
complete
I love
homage
those cards.
to Fallen Empires.
Oh, dude. I have misjudged you, sir. You're all right in my book. You're all right in
Okay,
my
okay, I'm
I
not the corporate evil force that you thought I was.
well,
I'm only half. I'm half. Pleasant community member, as can be seen by my participation in this fine program, and half
evil corporate
evil
evil
corporate
corporate
overlord.
people can still be pleasant. They can still be pleasant. I would never say that,
The
but
most effective ones are.
yeah, yeah. No, I my first. Well, I was buying revised, and then Homelands. I'm sorry, Fallen Empires came out, and my dad had said to me as a present, maybe a birthday present or something, he was going to buy me a whole booster box of revised. And we went down to the store, and that's when Fallen Empires had come out, and the guy behind the counter said to us, "You know what? If you want, you can get 2 of these Fallen Empire booster boxes, or 1 for the price of 1 of these revised booster boxes." And I didn't know what it was. I was like, "That sounds awesome." And so I got 2 boxes of Fallen Empires. I was about halfway through the first box when I was wondering, why is there no Shivan Dragon or Nightmare or Dual Lands in this? I would like to
Instead, you
find
got
that, man.
Ring of Renewal. And it had
Yeah,
Selenite Monk and all sorts of other awesome cards instead.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. All sorts of awesome
Yeah.
cards.
Someone in the chat asked, "Do these players even understand the point of Community Super League?" So I'm going to let you answer that one as you look at the board state here.
Are they talking about the players or the
Yeah,
commentators? 'Cause
the players with their uh, grindy deck choices here. There's Awoken
Jeez.
Horror. Yep.
I'm really. Can I just say to everybody in the chat? I know I'm trying my best here on commentary, but as far as the game is concerned, I built a deck that is very near and dear to my heart. It does not play out like Death Incarnate because I never play those sorts of decks, and you can laugh your ass up. You can laugh your butts off at how I've got 4 colors and I'm not going to hit any of my land drops right and such. So it will be more entertaining. Please stick around to see Mr. Forsyth here, evil corporate overlord, and all around great guy. Uh, 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 Completely decimate and destroy me again, almost 5 years later to the day. No thanks.
I
no
had
Delvers,
penciled it
no
in
blue.
5 years ago. I penciled
Yeah.
it in 5 years ago.
Yeah, you were like that guy.
Make
I
sure
bet
to
2.5
find this guy. Yeah.
I bet 2.5 years from now he's going to start a YouTube channel. That guy, he strikes me like the sort.
Aaron, which set do you regret the most was a question for me, and the answer is Time Spiral. I regret that we made it so over the top, in jokey, and hard to follow if you hadn't been there from 20 years ago. It really hit one segment of the audience really, really well and hit a larger segment of the audience really poorly. And I think we could have executed on that so much better.
You're wrong. You're
Okay.
wrong.
All right.
You're completely wrong. It was a
apparently
home
don't-
run. It was
I
a
don't
home run.
regret Time Spiral.
Stop beating yourself up over it. Bank on nostalgia. Seriously. Bank on nostalgia.
I enjoy nostalgia.
Guys
And
did a great thing. And Wedge
Wedge
has
has-
won the thing.
he tapped the 04 enough times to force his lowly 7-8 through for victory. It was not
It was
about
great.
burning vengeance. All right, so here's to someone playing some aggressive creatures maybe in the next couple hours
Yeah.
so that we can handle more
We were
grind it
given
out.
specific instructions to get excited about the cards, and I was fully intending We got, and I'm not joking here, people in chat. We said a thing and said, hey, guys, get excited about the cards that get played. And damned, I didn't get a chance to do that.
How about that
Thing in
red
the
blue
ice,
dual land?
sitting there doing nothing for freaking forever. It's a good game. It really is.
All right, so there's our board. Cheon won round 1. Wedge takes round 2. And in a moment, we're going to head to Kenji Egashira and Gabby Sparts for round 3. Well, Prof, it was good chatting with you.
A pleasure. I look forward to our match a little later this evening, and then maybe I'll see you again in 5 years.
All right. Take care.
Put what you've learned from watching the